Francis Ngannou will be returning to boxing once more against Anthony Joshua, one of the biggest names in the sport of heavyweight boxing. And it's been broken by none other than a very good friend of mine, Ariel Helwani, a man who has featured me on his show before. Very thankful for that moment and that opportunity. I hope we can do it again in 2024, Ariel. But to start off the year, Ariel's got a banger. And it is a pretty big announcement. It's Francis Ngannou taking on Anthony Joshua. The date wasn't confirmed by Ariel. I have seen a date floating around, and that date is March the 9th, which could make sense because that is the day before Ramadan. But one thing that Ariel Hawani did say is that there's going to be a press conference in London at the end of January, or at least later on in this month that I record the video and the day that the announcement was made, to confirm the fight and to confirm the date. So I'm thinking it's either going to be as soon as March, which is pretty soon for a turnaround for Anthony Joshua. I understand he looked incredible in his last fight and didn't take too much damage, but I don't feel like AJ would be turning around in 2 months. I would be very, very pleasantly surprised. I would personally love to see it, but maybe it's going to be a little bit later on in the year, maybe in about 4 or 5 months' time. I would love to see it in 2 months, though. Let me know when you think the fight's going to be. March the 9th is a date that I have seen. But according to Ariel Hawani, who broke the news, the date isn't quite confirmed yet. I'm looking forward to it though. And of course, the fight does involve none other than the man who made me look like a right idiot, Francis Ngannou, when he lost to Tyson Fury, but put on an incredible performance. And yes, I do believe Tyson Fury won the fight, but I think he just got by Ngannou. I don't think you can score the fight for Ngannou. I do believe that the fighter that was winning the more rounds was Tyson Fury, even though he did get knocked down. What a photo this is, though, huh? Imagine if he does it again to AJ. That would be crazy. But yeah, this is a big, big matchup at the top of the heavyweight division, especially for Ngannou, because there were rumors of Ngannou coming back against Derek Chisora, which honestly would have been a pretty good fight. I think Ngannou would have a pretty decent chance of winning that one. It is kind of hard to say though, because we've got a one fight sample size against the best heavyweight on the planet, according to most people. And Anthony Joshua is his next opponent. And Anthony Joshua at the moment, according to BoxRec rankings, which aren't official, I'm going to have to close off my overlay here. We do have, at the moment, Anthony Joshua is ranked number 2. I guess a lot of people would have Usyk and Fury at the top. So Anthony Joshua, one of the highest ranked boxers in the planet right now. There was word on the street of AJ maybe fighting Parker again, or Zhali Zhang, who is on an absolute run of himself. But no, we're going to be getting him taking on Francis Ngannou. I don't think BoxRec has Ngannou ranked very highly. I guess it is just because he's only had one fight, and it was a loss, even though it was to one of the greatest boxing heavyweights on the planet right now. But yeah, this is a big fight. This is a big, big fight, and I am prepared to make myself look silly again, because I am going to pick Anthony Joshua, but there is a real chance Ngannou wins this one after what we saw him do to Tyson Fury. Nobody expected him to do that to Tyson Fury, and he did. But I just feel like AJ, I don't know, man. If the Anthony Joshua that shows up against Otto Wallen fights Ngannou, I think he beats Ngannou. Not easily, but I think he gets past Ngannou. But if the Anthony Joshua that shows up against Jermaine Franklin shows up, then I think Ngannou could take it, man. Ngannou's boxing ability is a lot better than I expected, and maybe it was a combination of that, and maybe me overestimating the heavyweight division as a whole, because I thought Ngannou's footwork would just not be fast enough to deal with these guys at the top of the weight class, and maybe that would only apply for a smaller heavyweight like Alexander Usyk, because Ngannou looked fine in there against Tyson Fury. He put on a very competitive fight, one of the more competitive fights that Tyson Fury has had in his career. Now, yes, Tyson Fury has had fights in the past where he has struggled against, obviously, he did have those close fights with Wilder, but even earlier on in his career, when he took on a smaller southpaw that fights similarly to Usyk, which I don't know his name, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it raises a lot of questions, though. Like, what's the PFL up to? Like, what's up with the PFL? Because Ngannou is signed to the PFL. I feel like a lot of people might forget this. So PFL is seeing Ngannou have all of this success in boxing, and he signed to this massive deal with the PFL. I might have to make a completely separate video on this because I feel like it's a different topic. But Ngannou's gone out and he's boxing, but he's also got obligations to fight for the PFL as well. The original plan was that Ngannou would fight Fury and then fight for the PFL in 2024. I believe it might have even been at the end of 2023. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and this probably won't happen for a while because Ngannou's such a big name in boxing now. If Ngannou beats Joshua, he might not ever fight in MMA again. That genuinely might be the case. He genuinely might never fight in MMA again. So I feel like that's a separate video I've got to talk about because PFL, he's under contract with the PFL, which kind of makes things a little bit awkward because, you know, Ngannou at some point, PFL's gonna expect him to come back and do a fight in the MMA for the PFL. So it'd be interesting to kind of see how things go there. AJ versus Ngannou is the fight. It's a big one, announced by none other than Ariel Helwani himself. And I do believe, I mean, I'm going to say this now. Some people do question some of Ariel Helwani's announcements. I feel like he has been wrong a lot, but he's been wrong a lot in UFC because he's not that close with the UFC. So I believe this. I mean, if Turkey Al-Sheikh is the source, this is legit. This is 100% going to be happening. Absolutely no doubt in my mind. Good announcement from Ariel. He did well to get this one. 10-round boxing match in Saudi Arabia. Queensbury rules. I believe it's just the standard boxing rules. I could be a little bit wrong about that one there. But AJ versus Ngannou. I think it comes down to what AJ shows up. As I said though, if the AJ that fought Otto Wallen shows up, I think Anthony Joshua would beat him. But Ngannou could knock him out. I don't know. It's hard to predict a Francis Ngannou fight though, because we've got a sample size, but it's only one fight, and it's against Fury. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that believe that Ngannou can beat Tyson Fury, and I could probably be convinced. I'm going to be honest, but I just think Anthony Joshua, AJ looks so good against Wallen. You know, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. So let me know what you think in the comments below about this fight. This is massive. The money involved in this fight must be unreal. I almost want to imagine that Ngannou might be getting paid even more money for the AJ fight, taking so yeah, for the AJ fight than he got against Fury. This has completely worked out for Ngannou. For a while, the evidence was there that it wasn't. The evidence was there that it wasn't going to work, but it is. But it's working out. It's a great situation for Ngannou. He's got a massive PFL MMA deal. He might not even do it anymore because the PFL probably won't be paying Ngannou enough on that deal. So it's actually crazy how well all of this has worked out for him. It's blowing up in the UFC's face. It's blowing up in my face because I predicted that it wasn't going to work out whatsoever. But with the evidence that I had at the time, that was a very safe conclusion to come to, because if Fury didn't give Ngannou the fight and Saudi Arabia weren't willing to do Ngannou versus Fury, we could have been looking at a different situation. And then Ngannou himself went out there and put on one of the more great underdog boxing performances of all time against Tyson Fury. So yeah, a lot of things worked in the favor of Ngannou, and now he is in a better position that I think maybe he himself even imagined himself to be in. But I do have questions about what is going to go on with that PFL deal. If he beats AJ, what happens next? I mean, I feel like a Zhang Zhang versus Ngannou fight would move mountains, but I feel like Zhang Zhang might not have the casual fans audience, and I feel like maybe Ngannou himself doesn't quite have the casual boxing fans audience either for him to headline a card. Let me know what you think of that one too in the comments below. Do you think Ngannou's boxing audience or boxing name is big enough for him to headline a card against maybe a lesser known boxing fighter that maybe a lot of more casual fans may not be so familiar with? Let me know what you think. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Good one from Ngannou. He's doing well. He's proved me wrong. I'm actually happy for him. I feel like a lot of people were a little bit misled with my feelings towards the situation Ngannou was in, because I was worried for a second, man. It didn't look like it was going to work. PFL, he's got the massive PFL deal. He got the Fury fight. Now he's got an Anthony Joshua fight. All of the cards were played perfectly by Ngannou, and here he is. And he's got a real shot at potentially beating AJ and maybe getting a Fury rematch. So this is massive. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.